Joining us now on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that is all. Friend of the show, Brandon Scoop B. Robinson, NBA insider. Follow him on X at Scoop B. So how cold is it by you, buddy? Because we're at, like I just said, we're at -8 with a real feel of -27 right now, which is the warmest it's been all day here. How are we doing by you?
It is. I'm going to tell you right now. Good to see you as always. Looking at my weather app. I have not been outside my home office today.
Where are you at now?
I live in D.C. right outside. Well, live in Maryland right outside of D.C.
Oh, so you're going to get some snow this weekend then, I think, right? You got some snow coming?
I am, and I actually have to head out your way. So I've been changing some travel arrangements and making that stuff happen because we are expecting some snow Sunday, Monday.
Well, we have severe cold, but we don't have any snow in the forecast for the next several days. So no worries about that, at least here in our neck of the woods in Wisconsin. All right, Scoop. I saw some of your Giannis stuff earlier in the week, and I'm sick of talking about Giannis, if we're being honest. I think we all are around here. So I was like, no, I don't want to put myself through that. But then I saw the Myles Turner thing today, and I was like, okay, now I got to talk to Scoop. He had the one-on-one with Myles Turner. Man, like, when they traded for Myles Turner, Scoop, we were all excited. We were like, man, like, we got a younger version of Brook Lopez. Like, this is going to be all right. And Pacers fans were all up in the mentions like, you shouldn't be getting too excited. You paid too much money. He's going to disappear in games. You're going to find out. And that's kind of what's happened. I mean, when Giannis was out, completely missing in action. When Giannis is there, he obviously is better. But Turner talked about how much different the offense is here versus what he was playing with in Indiana.
Yeah, if you actually check out our interview today over at scoopb.com in the blog section, Myles and I actually talked about his biggest adjustment. The question was, now that you're in Milwaukee, what is the biggest adjustment skill-wise or play-wise playing here versus playing in Indiana? And he said, quote, with my group last year, we were a free-flowing team where the ball never stuck. It was a real point guard type of situation or system, he said, rather. Here, yep. You're playing with a generational superstar. You have to be more calculated and pick your spots. It's a different type of offense, so it has its challenges, but it also has its benefits. You get a lot more wide open threes and more chances to create for others. It's definitely a change of system. I will say that just covering Myles prior to him being with the Milwaukee Bucks and now being with the Pacers, I think he is right. I think Brook Lopez and the Myles comparison, I never really saw it because I look at Brook as more of an evolved center. I have always compared Brook to more of a faster Zydrunas Ilgauskas that has been able to adapt to systems playing alongside swingmen. He developed a 15, 16-footer, developed a three-point shot, and was more of a post presence, playing along any iteration of Deron Williams and some of the other guys with the Nets in New Jersey and later in Brooklyn. But I think for Myles Turner, I think is number one finding a spot. I think the Eastern Conference has just gotten that much better. But also you've had Giannis in and out of lineups. And then, even now with Doc's minutes restrictions or what have you, I actually was with the Bucks on Monday when they played the Atlanta Hawks on Martin Luther King Day out in Atlanta. And, Giannis was visibly kind of frustrated. And just in reading that body language, I think it has a lot to do with restrictions and less about trade negotiations. But I do think that with Myles Turner, he is a big piece that it has to fit a certain system a certain way. I actually think he benefits more playing alongside, my opinion, playing more at this point, playing more alongside Tyrese Halliburton than, Ryan Rollins and Giannis. But it's, the first half of the season, we'll see how that goes.
What I don't understand is how could you be that big, be that athletic, and not rebound at a much higher rate than he does? Like when Brook Lopez was here, it was, well, he puts his butt into people, he boxes out, ball falls and hits the ground, or he opens it up for somebody else to get rebounds. I don't get that same sense when I watch Myles Turner.
I don't think you can compare him to Brook Lopez, but I do think I personally, when I saw that he signed with the Bucks, I didn't see it as a fit, but only because I feel like that Pacer system was more allocated towards younger guards and Pascal Siakam.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna interrupt you. So here in Milwaukee, they all want Doc Rivers fired. get rid of Doc. He's screwing this up. The offense is wrong. They just got to get somebody else in there, whoever it is. And then this will all of a sudden, like that, become much better if they move on from Doc. You tell me, Scoop B, what do you see?
No, I don't think the hypothetical of firing Doc remedies, you don't take Theraflu to remedy athlete's foot. You use tough actin to remedy athlete's foot.
Good one.
and I'm really I'm free flowing and thinking. That a lot of times fans or even people who just are passionate about their respective team think that it's the coach and that it's the personnel. If you're blaming the coach, maybe it's a system that you dislike, and maybe you allow that free flowing to happen differently if you bring in somebody else. But who's the option? Darvin Ham is removed from coaching the Los Angeles Lakers last year.
Dave Yeager.
Yeah, and I like him too. But I don't know that removing Doc remedies that. I think it's a system of the Bucks and identity. Like, I think it's two things. I think it's one, Giannis hasn't been healthy. Two, Turner hasn't been healthy. Three, the Eastern Conference has gotten that much better. But four, the Bucks strike me as the type of team that really will kick it into high gear after the All-Star break, assuming Giannis is still there. And I think that you're seeing across the board, again, to just go with the Eastern Conference team, the Knicks aren't what we thought they would be. The Cleveland Cavaliers are not what we thought they would be. And then you're seeing teams like the Orlando Magic blossom. You're seeing the Boston Celtics defy all odds. In addition to talking to Myles Turner this week, I also dropped something over at Scoopy.com where, I talked with Jaylen Brown, and it kind of applies to the Bucks here where, Jaylen said to me point blank, listen, people really thought that we were only going to win 30 games this season, and we're close to that. We're exceeding that 30-point mark. They still have a long way to go, but they've been playing well and competitive without Jason Tatum, who could come back sooner rather than later. And I think that's going to pose a problem for Milwaukee as well in that Eastern Conference, because that's another team that's got to handle some things. I just think that when you look at the Bucks as an organization, I think they did wonders winning that championship. But to me, repeating is the hardest part for a multitude of reasons. I think that Milwaukee also benefited from beating a Brooklyn Nets team that, Harden issues, Kyrie ankle injury, and then they have to repeat all these years. And it's always been like this stalemate of whether that they can repeat or not. I think
and Giannis gets hurt every postseason. There's also that.
Of course, we're speaking the same language. Just we're just speaking it differently. But at the end of the day, I do think that I understand a fan's perspective of wanting a team to do better. You can't make Giannis heal automatically, and you also can't, like, it's interesting when you look at the Bucks. There is a similarity in this instance of their star player comparatively to Ja Morant in Memphis, where they're a name, but their player is also hurt. Ja came back in London and played against Atlanta, and then he's hurt again. It's like you look at Giannis, he's been in and out of the lineup, and then I also, you just know that there's conversations about, where he'll end up. I think that Giannis also is afraid to voice that he no longer wants to be there. And I think that is because that's the only team that he's played for, he's been drafted by. And how do you face the music and tell people that? He's in a very similar situation that Damian Lillard was in Portland the first go-round.
Yeah.
And also Kevin Garnett, his first go-around in Minnesota.
But the difference is he doubled down in that interview with Sam Amick, said, I'll never ask to be traded. I mean, based on that, you doubled down and you threw it out there for all Bucks fans saying, I'm never going to ask to be traded. So now if you go, I changed my mind, I'm out of here, that's going to be something. I think there's more likely now that he's just like, well, I'm stuck. I'll just play it out to my player option after next year. And then I'll opt out. I'm not asking for a trade. And then I'll figure it out and go somewhere else. Maybe that's how it ends up. I don't know. I'm just sick of all the drama. And we were talking about this in the first segment. Like when LeBron left Cleveland the first time to go to Miami, what happened around that arena? Businesses started shutting down and it became a ghost town. Back comes LeBron. Everything starts popping again. And, you have this beautiful Deer District and everything they built around there. And there has to be some fear that the same thing's going to happen in Milwaukee, like happened in Cleveland, if Giannis leaves.
You're talking about the theater district in Cleveland, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
I tell you that I love the theater district in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
It's very theatric to me. But no, in all seriousness, when you have a guy like LeBron who dictates the market, specifically in the Midwest, that is Cleveland, and the same with Giannis and Milwaukee, it worries people. And but the interesting thing about LeBron leaving Cleveland and coming back was that I think he was a lightning rod when he came back. I don't have a gauge on what that would look like with Giannis if he were to go someplace else. He'd have to go to a place that's already self-made. LeBron is charismatic in a way that Giannis is not, and that's not a knock on Giannis. I just know that there are players who vibe with Giannis, and then there's some players who don't have a relationship with him. It'll be interesting to see how that carries out, and that's not indicative upon Giannis's personality at large. But I do see a similarity, in LeBron and Cleveland in stint one, not getting people. And I think that it's going to be interesting to see how it goes.
He is Scoop B. He's awesome. I love having him on. Scoop B, Brandon Scoop B Robinson, NBA Insider. Follow him on X at Scoop B. Great podcast out right now with Myles Turner. Got to check out Myles Turner's comments. He had a one-on-one with Scoop B. Scoop, thanks so much for coming on, buddy. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Check out Sugar Ray on Scoop B Radio as well. He was on today, too.
Ooh, another one. Look at you just dropping stuff on the way out. Scoop B, take care, buddy. I appreciate it. That'll take care of this hour. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live on Wisconsin Sports Radio Network Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Scoop B joined us on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all.